Welcome to this presentation on the Micronaut MoveShop, the official cloud-native sample application for Micronaut, GraalVM, and Oracle Cloud. For those of you who have not heard of Micronaut, it is a modern JVM-based full-stack framework for building easily testable microservice and serverless applications with Java. It works by hooking into the Java annotation processing infrastructure and your Java compiler and basically computing the framework infrastructure that you need for your project at build time, eliminating the need for reflection, runtime proxies, and runtime code generation, which greatly reduces memory consumption amongst other aspects, including improving startup time. You can find out more information on the website and the documentation, and there's a project generator called Micronaut Launch where you can create applications easily. I do recommend that you head over to the video at the bottom of this slide, which provides even more information, introductory information about what Micronaut is and how it works. In terms of an introduction to GraalVM, GraalVM is a virtual machine out of Oracle Labs that is able in JIT mode by hooking into the JIT compiler to increase application throughput between 20 and 30%, reducing latency. It's also able to compile applications into self-contained native binary executables, which is great for cloud deployments, serverless, a range of IoT, and a range of other use cases. And because it results in a significant reduction in memory consumption and startup time. In terms of startup time, actually an orders of magnitude reduction, as it captures the heap and takes a heap snapshot and essentially produces a native binary that is specific for the platform. It also includes the Truffle language framework, which allows you to seamlessly use different languages together. There are implementations of Truffle implementations for languages like Python, JavaScript, and so on. You can find out more at the links below in terms of finding out more about GraalVM. And in terms of the Oracle Cloud MuShop, the original Oracle Cloud MuShop application is a reference application for building a set of polyglot microservices, i.e. microservices that are in different languages to showcase integration with Oracle Cloud Services. It's a really interesting sample application, and it features a range of different use cases, from using autonomous database to using streaming, serverless functions. And each individual application in this microservice reference sample application is, as I mentioned, in a different language. So you have some applications that are written in the Go language, others that are written in TypeScript. You have an application that is written in Micronaut, in fact, others that are written in Spring. And each application is, it's meant to show the diversity of integrations between different languages and frameworks and how they're all supported on Oracle Cloud. Now, we took this sample application and we turned it into the Micronaut MoveShop, where each individual application is instead wholly written in Java and Micronaut. And it really has a different set of goals to the original MuShop, which is to showcase the awesome integration and outstanding integration of Micronaut with Oracle Cloud, and how well it seamlessly integrates different aspects of Oracle Cloud, from monitoring to metrics to service discovery, distributed tracing, integration with autonomous database, and also making sure that every single application in the Micronaut MoveShop is converted to a native image and running completely natively in a Kubernetes cluster as a containerized microservice. So, this is a great sample application for Java developers looking to go cloud native, because it's essentially a reference application for building cloud native applications on Oracle Cloud, where every single sample application provides a reference on how to integrate different parts of the Oracle Cloud stack. So as I said, the goals of the Micronaut MoveShop was to showcase Oracle Cloud native configuration support in Micronaut, where you can declaratively declare integrations with different aspects of Oracle Cloud, whether it be integrating service discovery through OKE, resilience, ensuring that retries are applied, application metrics being exported to application, Oracle Cloud monitoring, distributed traces being exported to application performance monitoring, health checks, open API generation, and all uniformly applied across the different sample applications And each application can be fully converted into a GraalVM native image and run using a much lower memory footprint. You can find out more about the Micronaut MoveShop at this link below, and the source code is available on GitHub at oracle-quickstart/OCI Micronaut. So if you head over to that repository, this is the repository in question, Oracle Quickstart OCI Micronaut. With the reference sample applications, you will find each sample application in a subdirectory under the source tree. And there are different applications that represent different parts of the topology of the application. So the topology of the application is described here in this image. And you can obtain additional documentation about the different aspects of the Micronaut MuShop and the advantages of using Micronaut by clicking on this link, where we provide you documentation, an introduction, an overview of getting started, and documentation of the advantages of Micronaut, going into detail with samples and so forth on how things like cloud native configurations simplify developers' lives. So do find out more at those 2 links below. I'll continue talking about some of those advantages in this presentation. So Micronaut has kind of universal integration with application performance monitoring on Oracle Cloud. So for example, through a few simple configuration snippets, you can export distributed traces from both server and client requests to application performance monitoring and view those traces, including all trace data of incoming and outgoing HTTP requests, including the ability to track spans and see how long particular requests are taking, providing you deep insight into the way that your microservice application works. In addition to that, we have automatic instrumentation in Micronaut using Micrometer and exporting your different metrics, application metrics, from memory consumption to SQL queries to HTTP request counts, all into multiple different metrics backends. Prometheus is, of course, supported, as was the case in the original MuShop application, but you can also export those same metrics directly to Oracle Cloud Monitoring, exporting all the metrics being collected in the Oracle Cloud Monitoring service, which is just awesome. In addition, the service discovery is all decorative, so the sample application is taking advantage of Micronaut's great integration with Kubernetes. So you can just declare clients using simple service IDs that map onto your Kubernetes service IDs. And Micronaut will automatically discover those services without you having to configure anything using the K8s API. Load balancing will be performed by K8s, but there's also client-side load balancing and fallbacks integrated, providing additional resiliency for the microservice architecture. In addition to that, unlike the original reference application, there is a uniformity in terms of exposing health and readiness endpoints for Kubernetes. Each application exposes health checks that can be monitored by application by Oracle Cloud, and your K8's infrastructure automatically applying restarts as needed and monitoring the health of your application, increasing visibility, which is really important in a microservice architecture. In terms of database access, Micronaut provides significant advantages if you're using SQL and an autonomous database. You have the ability to declaratively define data access repositories, with Micronaut automatically at build time computing your queries into the appropriate query and basically converting those the result sets directly into Java objects without the need for handcrafted SQL. If you want to get low level and want to write your own handcrafted SQL, you can. And Micronaut has great APIs and great integrations for that. But it's also really easy to define, the common queries in your application that are so repetitive that as a developer, you just want the framework to deal with. And Micronaut has support for both JPA and JDBC. So whether you prefer a full object relational mapping tool like JPA, or you prefer to be more low level and use JDBC directly, Micronaut has your back. In addition to that, Micronaut will automatically discover the autonomous database secure wallet configuration and look up the data source and configure it appropriately, which dramatically simplifies how easy it is as a Java developer it is to connect up to autonomous database when your cloud application is running in the cloud. In addition to that, Micronaut features build time generation of open API and Swagger definitions, which is just awesome because it will actually interpret your Java documents and build up your open API Swagger documentation automatically for you from your source code. We're also working on the inverse for generating open API from Swagger definitions or generating Java code from Swagger definitions. But the fact that it's automated and you get automatic documentation is just awesome. And the Micronaut MoveShop is fully native, so it is completely a native application. Every microservice that is running in the Micronaut MoveShop is using GraalVM and converted to native image and running inside the Kubernetes cluster, which provides significant optimizations in terms of memory footprint and performance. And also provides a showcase of how Micronaut integrates so well with cloud infrastructure natively running on K8s, which is just awesome. Okay, so in addition to that, deployment is again automated rather than in the original MuShop application where everything was kind of manually crafted Docker files. Micronaut has built-in Java tooling and build tooling for both Gradle and Maven for automating the deployment of your application to Oracle Container Registry and the automatic generation of Docker definitions. So, pushing an application and deploying it is just a matter of Gradle w docker push if you're using Gradle, or Maven w deploy, specifying a packaging of Docker, and your application is packaged up into a container image in an efficient manner, whether you're using JIT mode or native mode, and it's all handled seamlessly by Micronaut's build tooling. So in summary, Micronaut, GraalVM, and Oracle provide a robust modern architecture for building cloud-native applications. The Micronaut MoveShop provides a fantastic reference application for building cloud-native applications with Micronaut, GraalVM, and Oracle Cloud. You can find out more in the documentation that I linked at the bottom of the slide. And if you want to try the application yourself, you can go to the GitHub repository. And I do want to point out as well in the repository that there is a very convenient deploy to Oracle Cloud button that you can click, which will automatically use Terraform to deploy the sample application to your tenancy automatically, allowing you to play with the application and demonstrate seamless deployment of the application to Oracle Cloud. So do try that out and try out the sample application, check out the source code. Each application, like I said, is a Java application written in Micronaut, and if you look at the applications themselves, you'll notice that there is things like cloud native configuration. So you'll find an application -oracle cloud.yaml file, and this is the file that makes the application, that is automatically detected when you're running in the cloud, that makes the application Oracle Cloud aware and reconfigures the application for running in the cloud. So this, for example, is the catalog application from the sample application, which features Micronaut Data JDBC and integration with the Oracle Cloud Autonomous Database. So with that, I will leave you to explore the application and Micronaut MoveShop. I think it's a fantastic reference sample application for building applications with Micronaut, Oracle Cloud, and GraalVM, and should provide you with an example of lots of different best practices for building applications, cloud-native applications, modern cloud-native applications with Java, Micronaut, and GraalVM.